a life transformation specialist. A lot of people say you're a PT, you're an online coach, and I feel like that's very vague. When you've invested a lot of money in yourself, like I have over 50,000 in education stuff, you realise there's a lot more to it than that. Because there's a lot of online coaches out there, but there's a lot of shit ones. You know what I mean? There's a lot of fraud. So a lot of people will just copy and paste the meal plan and stuff. Transform people's lives long term. It's all right being on a plan for the 12 weeks and stuff, but after the 12 weeks, what happens then? You go back to picture one, and that's not what we do.
What is the best, most effective way to lose weight?
Prioritise weight. Don't only burn the calories while you're training, but you're absorbing the food into the muscle after. A lot of people use these watches, what I've got on here, and think, oh, the Stairmaster's burnt more calories than the weights. Yeah, it has on your watch, but you're not absorbing food into the muscle after the Stairmaster, but you're out of weights.
I'd argue that, to be fair. There's a girl who I went to the gym with ages. Well, I didn't go with her, but she used to do the Stairmaster every morning, like half an hour. And her ass was the biggest thing I've ever seen in my life.
The food's the most important rather than the calories.
Right.
And a lot of people might disagree with that, but I think you can eat a lot more clean calories than junk food and get away with it.
And one of the biggest trends at the minute, or one of the most highly asked questions on Google, is how to get a six-pack.
But people wake up, they bang a coffee down, that spikes your cortisol straight away. You've got two hormones what wake you up. You've got adrenaline and you've got cortisol. Your main priority is getting that cortisol down in the morning because it's at a high peak.
So what's the difference between having a normal PT who gives you sort of a plan going forward and then you transforming someone's life? What is the key difference there?
The biggest voice in your head's the doubt.
See, personally, no. I'm a very all or nothing person, so if I decide that, oh yeah, do you know what, I would like to do that, I do go and do it.
With you, so up the stairs when we come in here, I asked you, how's it going? And you said something negative.
So yeah, I said, yeah, it's going well, but it's a slow burner.
Yeah, so that's negative. So you need to say it's not a slow burner, you say it's going fucking mega. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just wanted to be on TV. I wanted to be someone. I felt like that was the path to be someone. Obviously, I grew up on Geordie Shore and stuff like that. And
oh, is it the naked? Not the naked one.
No, not Naked Attraction. I turned that one down. Seems pretty easy. You don't really need a talent, so you just need to be all right looking and a bit chatty. So yeah, I was like, tick, I'm all right then.
I do have the biggest cock in them. Can't manifest that one.
Nah, you'd never.
Right, so we're joined by Clint and Lewis. So Clinton, can you give us a bit of a background on who you are, where you're from, and what is it you do?
Yeah, so my name's Clint and Lewis. I'm from Manchester. I feel like I'm going to take me out. But yeah,
reveal yourself.
I know, yeah. Basically, I'm a life transformation specialist. Right. A lot of people say you're a PT, you're an online coach, and I feel like that's very vague. What really our job is to do on Active Physiques, there's the brand, by the way, is to transform people's lives long term. It's all right being on a plan for the 12 weeks and stuff, but after the 12 weeks, what happens then? You go back to picture one, and that's not what we do.
So what's the difference between having a normal PT who gives you sort of a plan going forward and then you transforming someone's life? What is the key difference there?
So with a PT, you're in the gym, you're in the shop floor, and you're only educated on how to train someone in the gym. You're not educated on anything to do with food unless you take the time out of the day and go through different courses to do that on your own back. But that's all you can do. You can count reps, you can teach form, and you can train someone and give them a good session. So that's 1% of the work. So obviously an online coach, they might be doing a basic one. They might be doing like food and training. They might, because there's a lot of online coaches out there, but there's a lot of shit ones. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of fraud. So a lot of people will just copy and paste a meal plan and stuff and give someone sort of a generic thing. But when you've invested a lot of money in yourself, like I have over 50,000 in education and stuff, you realise there's a lot more to it than that. So what we do is we do the food, do the training, but we focus a lot on mindset because everything's controlled by your mind. So unless you've got that under wraps, you won't be able to stay in a lifestyle change long term. So that's basically the difference, really. We focus on helping people with hurdles like holidays, social events, and all that sort of stuff because they're a part of life. A lot of people, if you're just thinking of a plan, you're thinking of a short duration, and then it's finished.
Yeah.
So what happens after 12 weeks and you've done this like pretty intense plan and it's finished? You go back to all the old habits what you was doing before, and then you just lead back to picture one.
Yeah.
So it's just really a waste of time. You're feeling good for 12 weeks and then you feel like crap again after that.
Yeah. I think the first thing that comes to mind when you say it, not to put a down on it, but obviously when you come to a person like yourself and you say like, they're probably expecting you to say, well, if you sort your diet out, if you sort your exercise out, that's the route to success or transforming your life.
Yeah.
But obviously when you come in and say, well, it's more of a mindset thing and, there's a lot on the table there that they need to change. How do you sort of break that down for them and say, right, this is the way you're going to do it? These are the certain steps they must take from the start. Like, how do you do that step by step?
I think the approach is different just because we just preach a lifestyle change and we make it sustainable for them, and we really sort of emphasise that it's all right to, have a social event, have a meal out, go on holiday and stuff, because a lot of people put things off. They might say, I'll start after my holiday, I'll start after this, and I always say the same thing to every single person who says that to me. I say, if you start now with the rough patches, it's going to be really easy to move forward when it's smooth. But if you start things when it's smooth, your head's probably going to fall off when there's rough patches because you don't know how to tackle them. So you always want to face challenges when life's rough. That's when you need it the most. That's a sign from the universe, or whatever you want to call it, to take action when times are actually rough. That's when you need it the most, not when you've got this green zone, because there's no smooth patches. Life's up and down. Do you know what I mean?
So what was that example for you then in your life that taught you, so, I've got to go from the rough patch to transforming my life?
So basically I used to do seasons in Ibiza, so I'd done like 2 back-to-back 2018 Linekers. Like I say, I was, drinking all the time, having good memories, met amazing people, some friends who I still speak to now. And then 2009, and I went in really bad shape after that because I forgot about the gym. And then 2019 I went back and I thought I wanted to do it a little bit fresher, and I worked at Skinny Kitchen, so there was like a healthy eating restaurant. There was still drinks, multiple times in the week and stuff. So I did do it a little bit cleaner, but not too much cleaner, even though there's both 2 different complete seasons. But each time, like, I felt like I was doing things, because before that I worked as a coach builder for 6 years.
A coach, like building coaches?
Yeah, I used to build like ambulances, trailers and stuff like that for 6 years. And I just basically got that job because it was money straight away. So I went from 0, because you're in school, aren't you, to like £130 a week. And I thought, yeah, buzzing, like, it's a lot of money that. You get your freedom, you can get whatever you want. So I thought, yeah, 100% doing that. And it was the worst job I've ever had in my life. You was like a slave. It was slave labour. I used to work 60 hours a week. I used to come out with like, my biggest pay there was like 460, and I was really buzzing with that at the time because it was about 17 or something. But I worked like 60 plus hours in the week. So I thought, wow. Getting up at 5 a.m, because when people like come to me and say, oh, my life's tough, I've not got time, I used to do it. Do you know what I mean? I used to wake up at 5, and then didn't used to get in till like 9. Sometimes I used to have time just for a 15-minute session.
Yeah.
So
there's always time though.
Yeah, there is. So coach builder, because I'm going around the houses there, right?
No, you've had to coach building, and then you went on.
Yeah, so first it was a coach builder, and then I didn't know my purpose, but I actually done a holiday with my mate for 3 weeks. So me and my mate James, we got a loan out for like, I think it was about 3,000 each, and then we went on this 3-week holiday. Pretty much blown the money instantly.
Where did you go?
He spent like 1,000 in the strippers before we even went to Ibiza.
So you went to Ibiza on the holiday?
Yeah, I went to Ibiza from the holiday, and then when I come back to work as a coach builder, when you get the holiday blues, like I was feeling holiday blues for like 3 or 4 weeks, and I thought, this isn't normal, this.
Yeah.
I'm not meant to work here. So the year after, I handed my notice in and thought, I'm doing a summer in Ibiza, so that's how the season started. So I worked at Linekers, worked at Skinny Kitchen, and each time I come back, I literally felt like I was sort of on rock bottom, like I didn't have a purpose again, and I was like living for the summer. I didn't want it to be like that.
So why did you think that was the case? Obviously, like when you go to Ibiza, I've been myself, and it is a very fun place to go. Like you're on cloud 9.
Yeah.
Why do you think that when you come back you feel so bad? But a lot of people then go there and they work, because I've known people who they say they come back, they feel so bad, but then they go there and work there long term. But then that usually downgrades the life even further. Like, why do you think that is?
Just because I wasn't doing my purpose. I think when you're aligned with your purpose, you feel uplifted, it gives you energy, you feel drive, and you want to do it. But I was just young going through life, trying all these different things, working at bars, working at clubs, working as an engineer, like doing all these jobs, what didn't actually uplift me. So you're always going to feel lost. So when basically one of the turning points, because I know you asked that question, didn't you? So I was doing my first season. This is sort of a success story, really, in a way. But do you want me to do the turning point first?
Yeah. So what? So you're in the IB for having these seasons.
Yeah.
What was the turning point then for you to say, I'm not enjoying this? Something needs to change.
So basically, I got back after the second season. I got a job on a site. I was fitting like ducting, like ventilation and stuff. My mate got it me. And then I just thought of an idea. It was near Christmas in 2019 to just help people with food and training. And I used to sell these plans for like £10. And I thought, not going to sell many. And then obviously I remember being at work and my phone was blowing up. And I thought, wow, I feel uplifted from this. This feels like something I've never felt before. I feel success from it. And it was only small, but it blew up quite fast. And then lockdown happened. And then obviously I was out of work and then I just focused on it. And I've grew it now to, high six figures from nothing really. Over the 5 years, going on 6. So yeah, that's just obviously with mindset and knowing what you want. Obviously a lot of educations went into it and stuff and investments and stuff like that. And you do need a good team as well. So obviously they call it a mastermind, don't they? When minds are aligned and obviously you're on the same path. But yeah, it's been a good journey so far, and it's only the start.
What made you know that was your purpose? Like, was it just like the money going right, or was it what other things were going on?
It wasn't really the money going right because, like I say, I was charging £10 for food and £10 for training. So it wasn't a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? Like if 50 people sign up, it's still not that great, is it? Even though it's an extra income. But I just the feeling it got from me, like when I seen like people transforming. I felt uplifted and I felt like I was on the right path. I felt like I was connected to what I was meant to do. So actually the year after IB for like the Skinny Kitchen, they actually asked me to go back as a manager. Right. So I got a higher job role and it might have been like the biggest pay I've ever got, from like a normal job. But I thought it wasn't doing anywhere close to where it was now. Obviously it was 5 years ago. I was selling £10 plans and I didn't have a lot of money, but I thought I can see potential in it, so I turned that job role down to go back in 2020. And then obviously, like I say, I just worked on it. And like I say, I've had ups and downs and stuff, but I've just kept focused on it. And I just feel like it fulfills me that much that I just want to keep moving forward. But the main thing what kept me there really was just changing people's lives and the impact, because it wasn't about the money at first, and it never will be. It's about obviously how many lives you can impact through getting them out of depression, getting them over addictions, and just moving them forward. Because when you're getting messages every day saying you have changed my life, that's the best thing for me. Yeah.
What has been the biggest success story from obviously your journey in this transforming business? What has been like one that really stuck out to you?
It's hard really because we've probably changed nearly 1,000 lives, but I would say at the top of the list. There's a few close ones, but probably my longest client, Dave. Dave was basically, when I first met Dave, he didn't even have a profile picture on his WhatsApp. He just had a blank thing, because he was his confidence level.
Right.
And he lost his mum to cancer, pretty much watched her die in person. And he was going through a rough time. He tried coaches before. They didn't work for him. Again, generic. And then he just connected with me, and he went through a stage at the start of lying a lot. So he was the man who was like taking old pictures of scale weight and breathing in on pictures and holding onto the sink to make himself weigh less. He was that man. I even had like a folder on his phone. You don't mind me sharing this because it's completely
changed now.
He had a folder on his phone to say if he'd done cardio like 5 times in his life, he'd be using the pictures each month from the month before.
Yeah, so just recycling the same images.
Yeah, but he learnt me a lot how to sort of spot signs that someone's struggling and how to overcome it. So he taught me as much as I've taught him.
Yeah.
So we both helped each other, and then basically got to a point like probably about 6 months in, he weighed his lowest weight, but he looked his fattest, and I was like, mate, because you don't want to say you're a liar, but say, mate, just for my own sort of mental health here, what's actually going on? So he just said, I'll be honest with you, and just wrote a big massive paragraph of how he's feeling, like what's he doing and all that.
Yeah.
I said, right, we can move forward now, because the best thing in life what you can do is be honest, and that's when you move forward. So since then, he's done 4 photo shoots. He's had holidays with me to Marbella last year when I took 12 of my clients. He's the most confident person you'll ever meet. I'd done a speaking event last week, and he spoke on that, told his story, because he's a big comfort eater. So that was his biggest challenge. He turns to food when he's stressed, when he's happy, and all that.
And then obviously he was lying about it, so then it was confusing you. Yeah, it's interesting really, because I was talking to a girl who was a PT lately, and she said one of the top 3 things is honesty, and like, you know, if you're not getting told the truth by your clients and whatnot, you can't. Like the things aren't adding up. Like obviously you yourself know that if you're doing X, Y, and Z correctly, you should be at this point, and then you should be here at this point. Whereas if that's not happening, like you said, after 6 months you're looking your worst. It's like something's not going right. And if you're not honest, like a lot of people will then blame the PT and say, "Oh, the PT shit" and whatnot. But it's actually just them, not willing to take the accountability or tell the truth. So is that something that you get a lot of, like from a lot of clients?
It's one of them, obviously. I've got a lot of experience now, so I can spot a liar from the second week. But I think honesty is definitely at the top of the list. It's number one, because if you're investing into a coach, it's all right chucking the money at them, but if you can't be honest and you are cutting corners, how can a coach tackle that? You can't. There's no way to go. Like, you can't just... Because if you're saying you're a liar and you should be hearing that... I have done that approach sometimes and it's worked, but not everyone's the same, and sometimes people can take it the wrong way because they're going through a struggle. You know, and some people don't realise how bad their struggle is. Yeah. So I think first you need to realise your struggle, then accept it, and then be honest about it. And then that's how you actually move forward.
What would you say, like, if you were to give me like a top 3 things, so you said honesty is the first one, what would the other 2 be in the top 3 things for someone to actually change their life?
Mindset, honesty, and steps in place.
Right, okay. So like a routine.
Yeah. Well, basically, I would say you transform your life by 3 things, really. Habits, behaviours, and consistency. You know, without them 3 things, you know, you're not going to move forward in anything. And it's not just about health and fitness, it's about business, you know, anything you want in life.
So do you train both men and women?
I don't. We've got a team, so Nyla, she coaches all the females, and then I coach all the males.
Yeah, but you're still like in the sort of you understand, you know, who's getting coached on both sides. Who would you say is, obviously when you talk to your team, who would you say the most difficult person is to coach, either men or women?
I don't know, because both. It's an hard one, because females obviously have the hormones, and you know they're up and down with the menstrual cycle. You know, there might be perimenopause and stuff, but men sometimes they carry a big ego, so they don't ask for help as much. Yeah. Sometimes they might wing it on their own. So that they've both got their own struggles. I wouldn't say one's more dominant than the other.
They're just very different.
Very different, yeah. And it takes a different approach. That's why it works well with Nyla coaching females and me coaching males, because, well, you can connect with the same sex easier, can't you?
Yeah,
really?
Of course.
So
what are the things that you put in place that you know will connect with fellow men? Like, obviously you said that a lot of them, they'll lie to themselves, like they won't be honest, and all that sort of thing. So like, what are some other things that you just know straight away, well, I need to do this to stop them doing that?
The biggest thing what works for me in any aspect of my life is being a straight talker.
But you're from Manchester as well.
That's it. I just don't think there's no time for bullshit. You know, if you're a straight talker, like if someone was a straight talker to me, I'd think you're real. Like, say if you put a certain top on and it looks shit, and someone says you look great, you think you don't look great, you look crap. Yeah. Like I'm the sort of person, really, and if I see you like a family member and they're not looking the best, I'd say you're getting out of shape. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You need to sort of move forward, or I might tell the partner to tell them something, because people need that sometimes. It might hurt the feelings at the time, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, I can't tell you enough about, like, because like obviously with the podcast being the Truth Teller podcast, so we were talking before the cameras were off about, like, you know, like reading and things like that, weren't we? And one of the things I read a long time ago was a guy called Jordan Peterson. Do you know Jordan Peterson? Yeah. And he has the book, The 12 Rules for Life, and his first rule is don't tell the truth, or at least don't lie. So that is one thing that I've, like, for the last 3 years, 4 years, I've just thought, do you know what, I'm really going to just nail this one, because obviously there's 12 rules, and you could ask 1,000 different people and they'd have 12 rules, and it'd be different every time. But I thought that's a good rule, that, because I thought, if you tell the truth, he talks about basically in the chapter that despite the outcome, the outcome is the best possible scenario for you. Whether the outcome seems bad in the short term or long term, it will be the best, like, overall. So I was the same, like, when people had asked my opinion on the body or what should I do with it, I just started becoming brutally honest. And I even did it recently, like I have 2 older brothers and we've always been heavily involved in sport, always been in good shape. Like, we've all had 6-packs since we were like 8 years old. And then lately they've had like kids and whatnot. And we were at a family do the other week, and there was the other month, sorry, we were at a family do, and they both got dad bods now because they've had kids. Yeah. And I was just saying, like, you're both fat. Yeah. And then my mum was like, oh, don't say that. I was like, yeah, but they are though. They both like
drop the standards.
Drop standards. They're both fat, and they need to do something about it before it turns into an actual issue.
Yeah.
And then to be fair, one of them's like started doing 5Ks and started doing some running, and he's like took it, but the other one's just fucking a lazy bastard. Yeah. But it's the same thing of, like, I've had so many like at work or just friends, and like they ask for my opinion on something. I just say, instead of trying to beat around the bush and say like, oh yeah, you could do this and that, just say this is what you need to do, and if you're not going to do it, you're going to be a fat bastard for the rest of your life, sort of thing. And that's just the way it is. Does that ever have, so obviously you sort of take that sort of into your professional life, but does that ever have any, like, blowback? Do you ever get any blowback from being too direct with clients?
Yeah,
because obviously you said that
you do. Well, I take that into every aspect of my life, just being transparent and honest, because it works. Like, you just need to think, like, what you attach a liar to, it's all negatives in it, really. Yeah. What do you attach truthful to? It's all positives. Like, you need to look at your circle around you, like all your close people. They're always honest to you, whether you like it or not. Like my little brother, if I'm competing in 3 weeks. So say if I say to my little brother, do you think, like, I'm improving? He would just be honest and just say, no, you're not. But then you can go in the gym and you look better than most people in the gym, and they're like, oh, you look amazing. You can get on stage now. Yeah. So I always listen to the close circle instead. Yeah. But what was the question?
So, like, does it ever have any? So you being openly honest with people and, like, being brutally honest, does it ever have any blowback? Like, obviously with your clients and whatnot, I assume that when you first meet a client, you say, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. Does that ever have any blowback down the line with certain people who, like you said, have egos and whatnot? Yeah.
So everyone, you really want to just, because when you first start to meet someone, you're just getting to know them, aren't you? So you're not just going to be like start being proper direct to them. You need to ease things in, but it's one of them. You just, I don't know, feel like your approach with different people needs to be different. Yeah. But I feel like that's why we've got a nice mix, because Nyla's a bit more. I think if I was too direct with some females, they might take it on the chin a little bit worse. If that makes sense. Yeah, no, but males 100%. Can sort of take it a lot better. She's more calm, Nyla, and like peaceful and zen. So that works well for them. Sometimes they need a bit of a cuddle, don't they? Yeah. But I'm just, like I say, I'm just a bit more direct. But I will never be nasty. Obviously, I mean it from a good place. Yeah. And sometimes, the truth hurts, and I do get the negatives. But I wouldn't really want to work with anyone who can't accept it, because that means you're not accepting to move forward. You're accepting to stay in the same place where you are now. Yeah. So I don't want to work with someone who's willing to do that, because they're uncoachable, aren't they? Yeah.
That's interesting. Like, another one of the characteristics that girl who I said we had on said about like being coachable. Yeah. Because like I've had that in the past. Like, I'm not a coach by any means, but I've give people a different. They'll ask me what I do, and I'll tell them what I do. And then they'll say like, yeah, but what about this? And I'll say, I'm just telling you what I do. Like, I'm not telling you what you do. Like, you can go and do whatever you want. But then you'll give them, a bit of advice and whatnot, and they'll just like completely like just leave it and just try and do their own thing, and then come back and complain that obviously, nothing's worked. It's like, well, did you do the things that we talked about? No. Well, fucking, what do you expect then? Like, but have you ever had any like instances where people have been literally uncoachable to the point where you just have to say like, I refuse to work with you? Oh yeah, of course, yeah. How often do you get that? Not very often, to be honest with you. Right. Because like I say, we do help a variety of people, but if it gets to a point where we've been coaching someone for a while and there's no changes, we've got steps in place to have like moving forward. More touch points. We've got Zoom call support. We do live events in person. So we've got all these different things what possibly could get your mindset on track.
and it does for pretty much 99% of people, but there's still the 1%, because nothing's 100% really, is it? Whether you like it or not. So if you are the 1%, unlucky, but if you are the 1%, you know, you just obviously, I just say to them, you're uncoachable. Like, there's enough. I can't think of anything else to do now.
Yeah.
But then usually, to be honest, that actually works and pushes them forward.
Pushes them forward.
So sometimes it's like, not a reverse psychology, but they think, wow, this is the last chance to lose this. I need to act upon it.
But it's maybe like you said before, like when they feel that rock bottom, the delta is much more, so they feel like, you know what, like this is it now. I have to do something about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is very interesting. So obviously, your number one goal is to obviously get clients to predominantly to lose weight, I assume. So what is the best way to lose weight and gain muscle mass at the same time?
It's an hard one to answer that, because you can't really do it. It depends what stage you're at. So if you're a newbie to the gym, then the chances are, if you've took on weight training, you are going to do both of them things at the same time. But if you're experienced, unless you're taking a lot of steroids, you know, there has to be a turning point, because to build muscle, it's a totally different approach to than losing body fat.
Yeah.
One's like you're building your calories up, or even maintenance, and one's you're cutting your calories down. So you need energy to build muscle, and if you're starving your body to lose the body fat, it's just like, it's a contrast. It's night and day. So I wouldn't say that's possible for a lot of people if you are experienced, that is, anyway.
So obviously the main goal is to change your mindset, and then obviously give them the plans and whatnot. But like, how do you sort of facilitate like the individual progression of each person? So say like the average person comes to you and says, you know, I want to lose you know, some body fat, but then I also want to gain muscle. What way would you do it? Would you do like a bulk phase and then a cut phase? Like, how would you take the average person through that process? For
majority of people, they'll usually be either skinny fat, or they might be, you know, overweight and stuff. So really, you want to get the body in a healthy place first. So our first step there would be fat loss, because when you're lean, your body's more responsive and it'll move forward and build muscle easier. So that's the first step. So step one, fat loss, if you was overweight, that is. And then you'd go into maintenance, because that's going to stabilise all your hunger and all that sort of stuff, so you're not going to go on some mad binge. And then after that, then you go into improvement stage. So that's when you're building muscle, and it's kind of like a body recomp. You're building a muscle, because muscle's the only thing what's going to make you look good. You know, when you think people say, I want to be toned, being toned is just to do with muscle. Two things: how much muscle mass you've got and how low your body fat is. And a lot of people, they're lacking on the muscle mass, but they think it's about body fat. And if you've got low muscle mass and you're on about losing body fat, you're still going to look shit when you're lean anyway. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You're still going to look skinny fat.
Yeah.
So you do need even for the biggest sort of myth, what you can hear anyone say is, for females, I don't want to get too big. I don't want to build muscle. I don't want to look muscular. Build the muscle, because it's going to make your ass look popping.
Yeah.
It's going to make you look well better. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to develop all your shape, so you actually feel more confident, because they're looking on Instagram all the time thinking like, yeah, I want to look like her. She's not on the running machine. She's doing the squats. She's doing the squats. She's doing the hip thrust, and she's building the muscle. Yeah,
it's such a big misconception that, like you said, predominantly women have, that they think, oh, if I lift this weight, I'm going to be massive. It's like, no. It's like, you can lift weights for 10 years and not look like that.
That's
so like,
it.
But the way to lose weight is like to gain the muscle mass, so that it's burning the extra calories and whatnot. But obviously, like in terms of weight loss, just as its own sector, what is like the best way to lose weight? Obviously in a manageable way, not where you're detrimenting your body to then go and obviously then build some more muscle mass or whatever. What is the best, most effective way to lose weight?
Well, you need to eat clean for one. Calorie deficit, which is generic, but I think the food's the most important rather than the calories.
Right.
And a lot of people might disagree with that, but I think you can eat a lot more clean calories than junk food, and get away with it. Your body just works better, it absorbs it better, it moves forward easier. So I'd say step one really is your food, always. I would say that's probably, people say it's 70%, but I would say probably around that maybe.
Yeah.
And then your output. So, you know, if you was really overweight, even some walking and stuff would be okay. But then weight training, because like you said there, you know, if you're building muscle, you're going to be able to move forward faster. And the more muscle you've got, the leaner you can get, because it makes the body work the hardest, doesn't it? So I'd say, yeah. Did you say 3 steps?
No, just like what are the steps? So obviously you said food, then you said output. What kind of output in terms of like is it just as simple as doing steps a day, or is it better to do, you know, some different types of cardio or HIIT training?
Yeah, so it depends on what the person wants to do, really. If a person's open to anything, and they're not bothered about, you know, being unconfident in the training, like in the weight training bit. Because a lot of people are when they start. I'm sort of picturing like someone who's 20 stone. So a 20 stone person, we'll just do something what's like relatable on this one. Because not everyone's 20 stone.
Well, most people are overweight though too.
Yeah, so let's just say like, you know, it's a 14 stone worker who's never been gym and he's really overweight and he's not bothered about going gym. He wants to go. So I say the steps for him would be, first his food, but we need to structure it to his work pattern, his kids if he's got kids, you know, around his holidays and stuff like that. So that would be number 1, because a lot of people go in the belief of, I'm too busy, I can't stick to a diet, but they go in Greggs every day.
Yeah,
Doesn't make sense. You've got time to go Greggs, you've got time to eat out of the Tupperware, you've got time to have something fast, what you've prepped the night before or in the week. So food first. And then movement-wise, I would always say prioritise weights. They're number 1. Number 1 for burning body fat, because you don't only burn the calories while you're training, but you're absorbing the food into the muscle after. So a lot of people use these watches, what I've got on here, and think, oh, the Stairmaster's burnt more calories than the weights. Yeah, it has on your watch, but you're not absorbing food into the muscle after the Stairmaster.
Yeah, and you're not building muscle as effectively as well.
That's it. Well, you can't build muscle off a Stairmaster.
Yeah,
right.
But I'd argue that too. There's a girl who I went to the gym with ages. Well, I didn't go with her, but she used to do the Stairmaster every morning, like for like half an hour, and her ass was the biggest thing I've ever seen in my life. I just remember thinking, like, why? How would you have time for that?
Yeah, no, I do it 40 minutes every day.
Well, to be fair, like doing it like consistently is not the issue. It's just how long. I thought if you just go and do like 3 sets of 10 squats, you get the same exact like what she's obviously looking for that. Yeah, it's like you just get that in like a quarter of the time, but each their own. But in terms of exercises, if you could have only 6 exercises to do for the rest of your life, what would those 6 exercises be?
Bench, squat, deadlift.
Bench, squat, and deadlift.
Yeah. Probably like a preacher curl.
Okay, yeah. So just as like a bicep curl
for the
for
arms.
those.
And so I've said 4.
So bench, squat, deadlift, preacher curl.
Yeah. And so did you say 5, yeah?
6.
Oh, 6. So leg extension.
Okay.
I like leg extensions. And then no physiques complete without calf raises.
Yeah, calf raises.
I love leg day, so it's one of them.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've covered everything. I am missing something for back, to be honest.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I'd have put like pull-ups in there.
Maybe, yeah, pull-ups,
instead of leg extensions.
Or lat pull down or something.
Yeah. So obviously, like when I was looking the other week, I was looking on YouTube and stuff at different fitness videos, just seeing what the trends were. And one of the biggest trends at the minute, or one of the most highly asked questions on Google, is how to get a 6-pack.
Oh yeah.
So how do you get a 6-pack?
Well, the 6-pack.
I know it's such a general question.
It's funny. The questions
are
are proper generic, aren't they? But it's good because it'll connect with a lot of people who don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's important to like debunk a lot of myths, because there's so many. Like I said, with me, like the more, I think what people forget is that to solve like any problems, you need to solve the simple problems first. Yeah. And I think that's like people always ask like the 6-pack question, or they'll ask how to optimize this, how to optimize that. But then, like you said, they go into Greggs every day, and they're not cancelling the easy stuff out, and they're looking at all the really hard shit. So like, it'd just be interesting to get your take on it. So how do you get a 6-pack? What are the steps?
So the steps, really, like we were saying before, is number 1 would be food. You need to, the food's the base of all the results. And I'd say number 2 is your habits. So I'm big on a morning routine, me. So my morning routine's unbreakable. It sets my mindset in a good place. It moves me forward. It puts me in a good positive mindset, like I say.
So what is your morning routine?
Morning routine for me is I'll do steps. So I'll wake up, I'll have my electrolytes. So I just have basically apple cider for the digestion. Then I'll have 6 grinds of pink salt in it. It's disgusting, by the way.
Yeah, that fucking sounds
it's horrible. But I put boiling hot water in, so obviously if you're drinking something that's boiling hot, it gets in the system and wakes it up faster rather than cold. I never drink cold water.
So that's your home, that's like a home remedy for electrolytes then?
Yeah, it's just natural.
Yeah.
So I'll have that in the morning because you need to think you've slept all that time. You're dehydrated in the morning. So that's why a lot of people wake up tired because they might just be dehydrated. But people wake up, they bang a coffee down, that spikes your cortisol straight away because you've got two hormones what wake you up. You've got adrenaline and you've got cortisol. So really your main priority is getting that cortisol down in the morning because it's at a high peak. So how to get it down is stuff what actually uplifts you. So that's why I do the steps, nice and relaxing, puts me in a good frame of mind. And then I'll do Stairmaster because I need to. I'm 3 weeks out from a bodybuilding comp. So I'll do that for 40 minutes. And then
fucking hell.
Yeah, so it's heavy time. But then I do the sauna and the cold shower. And the cold shower and stuff's been a game changer for my routine. Like I'm big on the ice baths.
Right, okay.
And I might sound like Wim Hof, but I am big on the ice baths. Like the buzz what I get from them, it just gives you a kick for the day. Like it fully changes your mindset. Yeah, I've been going a couple places in Manchester, one called Contrast and then one called Fix.
Right, okay.
They do like different classes as well, so they do like breath work and, if you've never done it before, you might think, that's a bit weird. But when you get into it and stuff, it's like, it's really relaxing and spiritual.
Yeah, it's one of the other things that I've actually started doing recently, like a bit, not going majorly into it, but like I've been doing a bit of breath work, but I do it in the sauna to try and to steady your breathing. Yeah. But it's fucking hard in the sauna, isn't it? But
it's harder in the ice bath.
See, the ice baths are a weird thing with me because I started doing them a while ago, and then recently I've been going to this one that I have this spa that has an ice bath.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of contradicting research out at the minute with ice baths. I don't know if you've seen saying that they can cause a lot of organs problems and whatnot. But I do understand I definitely felt the the neural benefits of it, for your brain and whatnot. You feel the shock and then you feel great after with the hormone release. Yeah. But yeah, I've seen too much contradicting stuff, and this guy just said just stick to saunas, and I just thought, you know what, I'll just stick to saunas for now. But what does the ice bath do for you?
One thing what I would say to that is, I never fall into research. I just try things myself
and just see how it benefits
and see how it
body,
makes me feel. I'm not asked if it shuts your organs down. If I'm feeling flying for the day, I'm going to be doing it twice a week. I do it twice a week, me.
Yeah.
And that energy, what it gives me, that makes me have a good day. That makes me connect to more people. Yeah. That makes me more money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
See, I do respect that a lot because that's something that
I've done it all my life.
Yeah, because I come from quite a scientific background, because I've studied and whatnot at uni. And I think that's one thing that I do too much, especially I said this to my mate recently about even things like dating, and I read too much to the point where you almost sort of cancel things out for yourself in the world because you've read something at some point.
That's it. You just need to think it's your movie. You're making your own movie. You're not making someone else's movie by looking at the news. Or I never ever watch the news. It's negative.
To be fair, I don't watch the news.
It drops my energy.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. If anyone ever joins my team and say, let's stop watching the news, let's start looking at things positive, because everyone's energy. That's why when you're going through a rough time, you're feeling low. Other bad things are happening, like I was saying before. And then when you shift your mindset, which is a controller of your life, your mindset, then good things start to happen. And you'll know this as well. When you're around certain people, you feel on the same frequency.
Yeah. 100%.
Negative people don't come near me, they're scared. I scare people away with my energy. Do you know what I mean? They don't want to speak to me. They'd rather just go and moan to someone else. If someone comes up to me and's moaning about life, I just will shut my ears and I'll just walk off and won't speak to them.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't want to be involved with people like that.
Yeah, 100%. It's the same thing with me in terms of obviously, I think the more busy you become, you realise that you have to be a lot more careful with your time, and that's something that I've had in the last 2 years, especially
the more successful you become.
Well, yeah, I guess
that's
successful. Yeah, I guess so. It's the more things you're trying to lock down. I want X, Y, and Z, and then as you go down them paths, you realise that I can't do all this now, and then obviously people who don't complement your life, you can just move on and whatnot, and that's something that I've definitely seen in the last 2 years of just you're doing all these different things and you can't fit everyone in.
That's what I was saying about habits. So in order to get the life what you want, your habits need to change. So you need to act your way into where you want to become.
Yeah. And
that's by habits, like me, when I was in a different stage of my life, when I was doing the IBFAs and all that sort of stuff, my friendship group was different. I was hanging about with people who was taking drugs, drinking all the time, you coming out on the weekend, etc., etc. And then when you have this shift, because I knew I wasn't wanting to do that for the rest of my life. just drink every weekend and all that stuff. When you have the shift, then you cut people off because I didn't feel good doing it.
Yeah.
I always woke up the next day after a drink and used to feel really negative, and other people would just be cracking on. It's like when I got some of my first jobs, I didn't feel content, and I thought, why am I different? Why do I not just think, oh yeah, it's a good job, I get a decent wage, why can't I just be normal and do that? But then obviously it's a gift.
Yeah,
it's a gift because it's basically it moves you forward more than anyone else.
Yeah, and I guess it's your body's way of telling you that something's not right. That's
Yeah,
what I think that's what a lot of people completely brush over. When they're feeling a bit depressed or a bit sad, they forget that that's completely normal.
Yeah,
and it's just your body's way of telling you that something needs to change. Whereas so many people they think that that it's happening to them just by chance, that it's just it's just the way it is, and they're not realising that there's a reason that they're feeling like that.
Yeah,
and they need to go and change something. But you mentioned obviously 2 books before. You said that one that you came onto earlier was called The Secret. So what changed you going from one path to another via that book?
So when I first read The Secret, I was only 18. So my brother started a business, and he was really successful with it in a short space of time through reading this book. He used to own call centres and stuff like that. So it sort of brainwashed him into positivity. So he gave me this book. I was only 18 and stuff, but he said, I'll read that book. It's really good. It helps you think about the mind. You can attract anything. You can do anything. I thought, wow, it's got a lot of energy. It's a good thing. And I wasn't really close to my brother when we was growing up because we both had different mums.
Right.
So it was kind of not that close. We used to see each other now and then, and his relationship with my dad wasn't the best. But then when I turned 18, we started a proper bond. So we had a lot of time together. Say, you give me the book. It helped me think about certain things differently, and then I started to understand why good things were happening because it was on the top of my thoughts. But I couldn't always make it happen because I didn't understand it fully until pretty much about 2 weeks ago. With a different book.
So what weren't you understanding?
With The Secret, it basically, I was only 18, so it was 10 years ago. So I might be corrected if we put this video out. But the things with that is it's very surface level. So it basically has loads of stories in there about people thinking of £1 million and it's coming through the post box and all that stuff. And I thought at the time, bit make-believe that, I don't really believe it. But there were some things what did connect to me, what I thought was realistic, because in order for you to achieve anything, you need to think it's doable or you'd never ever get it. So that's why the book didn't connect to me fully, but it did teach me some things about the reasons what was making me success at the time. But obviously it wasn't anything great success. It was just when I was 18, I wanted to be a reality TV star.
Yeah.
I used to grow up on Geordie Shore and stuff like that. So that's what I wanted to be. And I did get opportunities for Love Island, X on the Beach and stuff like that. But I wasn't confident enough. I didn't even know who I was. So I failed a lot of the auditions and stuff like that. Whatever stage you got to on each show was different. I did get on a few shows, by the way.
Yeah. I was about to say, we're talking about that later.
Yeah.
You were going to get away with that.
Yeah, so that was my first path, and that was me trying different things.
Yeah.
So then I was lost again because I thought, I don't really want to be on telly. I'm sort of going into this different path, like gym and stuff like that. And then I was going Ibiza and stuff. And then, what was the question? Because
so then obviously you came on.
Led on to this one.
Yeah.
So this one, basically, so with businesses, you're not always winning. People post the daily wins on Instagram and stuff like that. They're doing dead well, but you do get low patches. And one of the low patches with me was only a couple of months ago. So we had 2 low months in terms of revenue, clients leaving, growth and stuff like that. And I was in a negative mindset. And then my brother again, 10 years after, we've got a mega bond, by the way. We're best mates now. But 10 years after, he sent me a video on the group chat because I've got a group chat with all the clients. So he sent me this video, Bob Proctor. And it was just basically explaining how the brain works. So he said, obviously, you've got 2 parts of the brain. So you've got your top part, which is subconscious. So that's where you get all the ideas to move forward, your business, this podcast, all the positive stuff where you're just walking one day and you think, I'd love to do that. That's your subconscious. But then what everyone's controlled by is the bottom half of your brain, the conscious. So that's the thing what has fear, doubt, I can't do this, everyone's going to laugh at me. And when I'm looking back, when you mentioned there about when I wanted to be a reality TV star and stuff, I had a lot of doubt going into all them scenarios. And what this book did, it helped me understand that. and it just gave me a different perception on life. So when I am feeling doubt, because everyone does, you can do different techniques to eliminate the doubt. So affirmations are a good one. So there's one what I say every single day. So it says, I'm so happy and grateful, money flows to me in multiple sources of income. I'm so happy and grateful now, money flows to me daily in multiple sources of income. That's what it was.
Right, okay.
So you say that, you could say that 1,000 times a day, but it just depends on your goal. You know, you could say, I've got the best podcast in the world, or the area first, start with the area because it's more realistic. So you just brainwash yourself into positivity. You brainwash yourself into positivity. Yeah. So once you do that, you start to believe it. And next thing, good things start happening. So from the last 2 weeks, because obviously I watched the Bob Proctor first, but then I started going into it. And then obviously I found this book. Am I holding it there?
Yeah.
I found this book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Definitely buy it. So basically it was a man who studied why people were successful years and years ago, I think 1900s or something, but he studied 500 people over I think a 50, 60 year period because they didn't even know why they were successful, but he's put it into 14 steps in the book. So each step obviously is training you in a different way and sort of things will hold you back when you are winning and when you have got your struggles. So when you fully understand something, it becomes clear. So you just feel more confident with doing so, really.
So what were some of the steps in that you realised that you were at fault for?
I've not read the full book yet.
Oh, right.
I am going to finish it, but the biggest thing what resembled with me was you can say you want all these big goals, but have you ever sort of thought about a goal but you've already failed in your mind? Because the biggest voice in your head's the doubt.
See, personally, no. But no. I know exactly what you're talking about. Well, I don't know. I probably have had that. But I think for me, like in the last 5, probably since being about 18, actually, like I said, I've tried to eradicate the doubt. Like, you know, I'm a very all or nothing person. So if I decide that, oh yeah, do you know what, I would like to do that, I do go and do it, or I just completely don't. No,
that's it. So, but even like with you, so up the stairs when we're coming here, I asked you, how's it going? And you said something negative, like, oh, so and so or something like that, didn't you?
Right, okay.
That's your doubt talking.
So I think, I said, it's going well, but it's a slow burner.
Yeah, so that's negative.
Right, okay.
So what makes you think it's a slow burner? It's your conscious, so you're letting conscious control your mind. So you need to say it's not a slow burner, you say it's going fucking mega. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so you don't even realise that it's controlling you there.
The thing is with me, like, I wouldn't say I'm negative, but I try and keep it real. Like, and if it's not, because the thing is, like, I do get both sides to this, because obviously what you're talking about is the law of attraction. Like, I've studied the law of attraction for a long time, but then I think where I disassociate a little bit with this is I don't delude myself into thinking that I'm already there. Like in terms of like for example, if I'm saying, you know, I want this podcast to go to the best in the country, for example, I won't start sit here saying it's already the best. I say I want it to be the best, but right now, you know, I'm still on the process. That's
well, maybe if you change the script, you might get a different.
So
result.
What script would you say?
I would say it is.
Fair enough.
I would say it is, and then I would say set figures. So if you don't think you're at a stage where it is the best podcast in the world, for example, why don't you just start with the best? You've got number 1 in Liverpool on your thing, haven't you?
So that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. So how's that proven? Like, what makes you the number 1? Is that just you saying it?
Yeah.
There you go then. So that's a good thing. So you're actually living that. So that's proper. That's good. So you're already talking about it, but no one said it's the best. You have.
Yeah.
But you're making it the best, aren't you? You're getting all these good people on, so you turn it into reality. But it's just steps. You know, once you've completed the best in Liverpool, then you're on to the next. So you're doing it. You're doing it like spot on.
Somewhat.
You're doing it spot on it, but like because you have to make it real to you and be real, because you can't be the best yet, because Joe Rogan is.
I don't think anyone's ever getting there. But
they might be,
but take a shot.
But he obviously took his steps, but that's what you're doing, and them little steps turn into the big thing in it. It needs to be realistic, because then you believe it more, don't you? If you don't believe it, then you won't achieve it, will you?
Yeah.
That's another good one.
That must be in the book.
No, that's in the secret, that one.
Yeah, okay. So obviously you mentioned before that you went on a path of, like, you know, trying to get on, like, like dating shows and that you have been on some dating shows. So what made you want to go on dating shows at the start?
I didn't really want to go on I did want to go on the dating shows a bit, but I just wanted to be on TV. I wanted to be someone. I felt like that was the path to be someone. Obviously, I grew up on Geordie Shore and stuff like that, and all the other shows, to be fair. Love Island and stuff. So I was always watching them thinking, oh, they've got the fame, they've got the money, you know, they're going in all these clubs and doing these like luxurious life and houses. And I thought, yeah, that's the path to do it. Because it seems pretty easy. You don't really need a talent. So you just need to be all right looking and a bit chatty. So yeah, I was like, tick, I'm all right then. So I'll get on it. So I tried my luck with a couple. And to be honest, the shows what I've been on, they contacted me. Right. I didn't actually try to get on them ones.
So which shows have you been on?
So I've been on Blind Date twice.
Okay.
So I went on Blind Date once, and obviously I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's like there's 3 people, and then there's like a big like shield. Yeah. And then there's the person who picks the people. Like,
right. Is it the naked? Not the naked one.
No, not Naked Attraction. I turned that one down.
That one was going too far. That outed you.
Nah, I wouldn't want to do that one. But my mate went for an audition.
You have the biggest cock in them.
Yeah, definitely.
Can't manifest that
one. You'd never.
But anyway, so Blind Date's so you've got a shield. You've got a shield. There's 3 of you, and then 1 person. But go on.
Yeah, so she's just judging you on what you say.
Oh, right.
She doesn't know what you look like, but it's kind of fixed because the crowd, they're saying what to pick.
Right.
Because they can see everyone.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I went on it once, didn't get picked, unfortunately. Right. But then the winner, they get an envelope, so they get to choose where they go, basically. Well, they open the envelope and they might be like, right, you go in, South Africa, or you might be going Blackpool.
Yeah. So you're going on like a date. Let's say it's kind of like not Love Island. Take Me Out, where you go abroad for a date. Right.
You go abroad, or you could go somewhere shit like Blackpool. It's just the luck of the draw.
That's fair enough.
So that was that. That was the show done. The next year, I think I come back from Ibiza actually, and then they actually rang me and said, "This a bit of a different situation. We want you to come back onto Blind Date. The girl who got picked, the boy who picked her has got a girlfriend now, so he can't come. But I think you're a good fit. You was funny. Come back on the show."
Right.
I said, "Where are we going?" I said, "Cornwall." I was like, "Shit."
Cornwall's not bad.
I was expecting somewhere like the Maldives or somewhere, and you get Cornwall, you're like, oh. So I got there. I thought, yeah, I'll do it, because I'm always up for anything, because I just think like life's fun, innit? If you have a good time, you don't need to be too serious.
No, definitely.
Even though if you're driven, but went over there, and the girl was totally not on my wavelength at all.
How so?
Boring as shit, to be honest. Like, just thought, crap all this. Just nothing in common.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, there was a scene where we had to try these oysters. Well, they called oysters.
Oysters where you like slip them out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously, I've never tried. I didn't even want to eat them, but the guy who was one of the filmers, he said, if you try one of them, because I was saying no, I'll get you a pint of Guinness. So I thought, a pint of Guinness sounds good. So I tried it, and obviously, I nearly threw up straight away, so I spat it back out. Obviously on the plate, she didn't like that, but thought, if you're going to go weird over me just spitting an oyster out, what's pretty much like slime anyway.
Yeah.
You're not for me, are you?
Yeah.
You're a bit too like prim and proper.
Was she fit?
She was okay. She was probably like a 6.
Right, but so you didn't know, did you meet her there?
Met her there. It was a full blind date, right, so you just rock up,
and
then the cameras were already out, and then you walk up to her,
and shoving oysters down your throat.
Nah, that was obviously day 2, but you walk up to her, and it's just like, here's your date, and then they film all the reaction. Obviously, before that, they're covering you both up, so you can't see each other. So it's 100% real when you meet him. But then, obviously, shows are always fixed.
I was about to say, like, how much of it is authentic and how much of it is like, oh, go on, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, sort of thing.
I'd say 50-50.
Right. Okay.
Because sometimes, like, because we was there for like 2 or 3 days, so like on the last day, they wanted to make it out like she didn't want to carry on with me, and I was like pretty gutted about it.
Right.
And I thought, fuck that, I'm not getting embarrassed on TV. 100% that's not the case. So they told her to say a line like, like, been in me sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
Like,
I
yeah.
said, to
Like
be
he's
honest,
like the classic, oh, he's a nice guy, but he's just not for
but say it to my face. And then there was like asking a question, so she basically worded it, and they can chop it up in the way what they want to do.
Yeah.
So when she said that, I just said, to be honest, I feel exactly the same way. I didn't like you anyway. So there's no, you can't chop that up because that was my reaction.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And what was her reaction?
Just obviously shocked.
Yeah.
But I like to say I'm a straightforward talker, so that was that.
Yeah.
And then the next show was the biggest show I've been on is the Cabins.
Right, okay.
So that was in lockdown.
Right.
Which was a bit crap, really, but it was supposed to be the next Love Island and
so
stuff.
how does that one work?
So you're in a cabin. So you basically, because it was lockdown, you couldn't be around anyone, so you was in an hotel room pretty much all the time. You've got different days to film. So we done filming like an intro, like, hi, my name's Clint. I'm from Manchester. I like the gym.
The proper Love Island spiel.
Yeah, so you do all that stuff, but then you do the other bit where you're in the cabin, and that's fully real. So there's 24 cameras or something in there, even one in the toilet. So there's cameras all about. No one stood there. It's just cameras like the Big Brother house. So you're going in there. I was nervous, to be fair. Like I say, it was a good few years ago. I was still finding out who I was, because you build confidence through life, don't you?
Yeah.
So I always used to sort of drink when I was nervous.
Right.
So that was like my coping mechanism a bit when I've done all sorts, really. But when I got on the show, they had like Prosecco and that there, so I thought, I'll have some there. Waiting for her to come through. She was fired, to be honest. She was nice. She was fit. I thought, but then they ended up getting too fucked. And I was saying all sorts. Obviously, I was doing the Jim Carrey impressions and stuff like that, but I thought it was funny. Like, everyone was buzzing over me anyway.
Yeah. She just weren't impressed.
You know what? She was just pretending to be something she want.
Right, okay.
Because
the cameras and that.
The cameras are there, like, she was acting the prim and proper and stuff. I was like...
So you weren't face-to-face then because it was COVID, or you were?
We was, yeah.
Oh, right. So
they do all the tests and the COVID tests and all that. Right.
So then you
crap
can.
Anyway.
Yeah. So then she just comes into the cabin, and then are you already pissed at that point?
Probably, yeah. So I had to cook a steak and everything, and then the pans was like... It wasn't non-stick anyway. The steak was stuck to it as a burnt steak and all that. It's nice, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, I just ended up getting too pissed, and I was probably saying stuff like sort of a bit forward, maybe like that.
Yeah.
And she thought you shouldn't be doing this on a first date, which is fair enough, to be honest. But I was just acting normal. I was just acting fully transparent how I was on the day.
Yeah.
Might have not been the best way, getting too pissed on the first date, but that's the way I acted. I wasn't lying. I wasn't like pretending to be someone what I'm not. A lot of people, when they go in them situations, like telling stuff, they put on an act.
Yeah, of course.
They pretend like that girl who actually was on the cabins with, she was getting off a box every weekend, you know what I mean? Like taking the drugs and all that. You know what? It's normal for a lot of people, but you know, if you're doing that, you're not prim and proper, and you know, just be normal on TV.
Yeah, no, I get you. So then is
probably don't use that. I don't want to start like speaking about her.
No, you're all right. So is there any others you've been on?
No, that was it really, I think. So I went on Blind Date twice, then I went on Cabins. I did go on one on YouTube.
Right, okay, what was that?
So that was called Boys We Know Game.
Did it suit you all?
It was just basically, it was a storyline. It was all set up. So it was like me and my mate James. That was the first one. That was one of the first. So we went London. It got put into like, I think it was like a 5-minute clip, which was mad.
Right.
We filmed for 3 days.
Fucking hell.
So it was good though, good experience. I enjoyed it because I like making memories.
Yeah.
It was just about people, me and him. Basically, we had to act like we couldn't get girls. You know, we didn't have any chat and stuff like that. And then this gran and some comedian, they was teaching us how to get game.
Right, okay.
So they're like the solvers. So that's what the storyline was about. So then throughout, obviously, the video and stuff, at the end, they taught us how to have game. They had a word with us, and then we got the girls at the end, and that's pretty much how it was.
Right, okay. Very scripted then, yeah.
Yeah, it was scripted, yeah.
Yeah. So like in terms of like, so knowing what you know now, would you go on any more like dating shows, or would you go on like something like Love Island?
No, my girlfriend would kill me.
Oh, you? I didn't realise you got a bird.
No, yeah, I've got a girlfriend, Nyla. She works for me.
Oh, right. So that's your actual partner.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that. Right, okay.
Yeah.
So how did you guys meet then? Did you meet through like sort of the business? Like, was she working for you before, or did you just?
No. So we just met through a clothing brand. So she was a model for the clothing brand. I'm not a model, but I was a model for the clothing brand. Like, just got the pictures and all that. And we just met on there, and then obviously I snuck in the DMs. We've had a bit of a rocky ride, you know. I've had a few breakups and that. You know, I've had times when my head's not always been with it and stuff, like in terms of wanting to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
But we're solid now anyway, so that's the main thing, you know. And like I say, life's all about learning, and you're always learning a different part of yourself, whatever chapter you're on, really, in a way.
Yeah. Where do you fall on, like, obviously, like, you're not just a standard PT, but like obviously PTs, fitness instructors. Where do you stand on like them in terms of dating? Like, what's your thoughts on, you know, PTs dating clients?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? That, like,
that's what I mean. Like,
it's one of them. It comes to a point, if you're a PT dating a client, it comes to a point when they're not your client anymore. You can't work with them. You're not gonna let them pay you, are you? If you're banging them, like, basically you've got a brass, haven't you? Really? Do you know what I mean? You've got an escort, haven't you?
Do you think that it's like a conflict of interest, or do you think that it's inappropriate?
Yeah. I think both of them.
No,
yeah.
I mean, like, it's like in terms of like, obviously if you have a client and then you're dating the client, then obviously she no longer becomes the client and you're dating. But like, do you find that inappropriate? Like, is it inappropriate to, like, you know, date someone that comes to, you know,
at the end of the day, like, if you're red-blooded, no, if you can't help who comes into your life. You know, if you want to continue, well, if you want to start a relationship with someone, no matter what the situation is, you just do what feels right for you. Yeah. You know, and then they're not a client then. And, you know, I don't think there's anything up with that. You know, there's loads of people who might be married for, like, my girlfriend now. She was married for 25 years. She's got 3 kids to the guy.
Oh, dear.
She fell out of love, and, you know, she moved on. Do you know what I mean? And it was quite close to breaking up with him that she moved on. But that's just because, you know, she was already probably looking about even when she was with him, because the disconnection. So I just think do what makes you feel right, but, you know, you just try not to hurt others along the way. Yeah,
it's like a very controversial argument at the minute, because obviously with women joining the workforce, you know, many years ago, and now it's such a big thing of, like, people are trying to, like you know, institutions are trying to make it not illegal, but like very much frowned upon for dating in the workplace to occur. Whereas, like, I remember seeing a stat and saying most relationships, like most marriages, came about from workplace relationships. So like it's a very, like, I ask people this all the time, like, you know, from different sectors, the fitness sector, teaching, whatever. Yeah. And people are always very divided on it. But, like, they either say, like, oh no, it's absolutely unacceptable, or people say that, oh no, like, it is fully acceptable. But I definitely go on the side of it being fully acceptable, because I'm like you said, someone comes into your life and, like, say you're a, I don't know, say you're a lawyer, and a bird comes in and she's a lawyer as well, and then, you know, if you like her and whatnot, I don't see it as a problem as long as it doesn't, like, cause a problem. Like, you know, if you start dating and whatnot, and then your home life is coming into work and things are getting, like, mixed in, then fair enough, I fully understand that. But I've had it where, like, people are dating and they completely get on with it, but then they still get a bit of flack because they work together and all that sort of thing.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all.
But obviously in the fitness industry, people all the time see it as a massive, like, the classic, like, oh, if he's a PT, he's a red flag. Like,
I've heard that one.
Yeah, of course.
I've heard that one. Yeah,
like,
loads of times. It's like they get a generic thing, but at the end of the day, you know, you just fall for who you fall for, don't you? You know, if you're a PT and you've got all female clients and you're banging them all, that's not right, is it? You know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
You're going to get a bad reputation, but you're not going to have a good business if you're doing that.
Yeah.
So you do need to be professional, but say if a relationship blossoms over time, say if you're training someone one-to-one and, you know, you start as just a client coach and, you know, you're both single and you start to fancy each other or whatever the situation is, if it blossoms into a relationship, it does, doesn't it? You know, it is what it is, and then you're not the client anymore, are you? You're the foot buddy. Or you're the wife.
Yeah. So you mentioned before about... obviously, you're competing sometime soon. So how often do you compete? So
I've not competed actually for 3 years.
Okay.
So I competed in 21, 22.
Right. Okay.
So I've done 21. So basically, the first time I competed pretty much was because someone said they'll beat me in a competition. I didn't even want to compete.
Yeah.
So
Why?
Why?
Why did you not want to?
I just used to train because for fun. I used to train for fun. I had a coach. I had the same coach as this other guy who was in the same gym as me. I used to work at the gym. And then he come in the gym one day and said, I'm competing. So I was like, yeah, that's great. And my training was going well and all that. I was getting a bit more serious. Started weighing the food, which I didn't do for years. So I started seeing good changes, and we both had the same coach, and he said, I'm competing. I was like, yeah, that's good. He said, why don't you do it? I was like, I'm not really into it. I'm just training because I like it. Nah, you won't do it because you're scared. You're just scared of getting beat.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. And then I got it for like 2 or 3 weeks every day. 2 or 3 weeks of shy.
What, he was just on you?
On me every day. And he turned out to be a close friend, to be honest. But he was on me every day. But it was a good push. And I said, fuck it, I'll do it. But when I say I'm going to do something, I always do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't ever put my name into a competition and back out last minute or make an excuse. I've never done that in my full life. So I knew I was doing it then. Then obviously tunnel vision come in. Every single person doubted me. So in the gym where I worked, there was a picture of loads of people on there, like who's done competitions and all that stuff. I remember once I went into the gym and I was probably about 6 or 8 weeks out, and then a guy who was at the gym put his arm around me pretty much. He didn't put his arm around me, but he sort of did, and said, it's good to take part, though, isn't it? And then I thought,
Do you know what
and then
do you know what it reminds me of dead quick? Have you seen that meme where it's Michael Jordan and he says, I took that very personally? Have you seen that meme?
Yeah, so that happened. So I had all these people doubting me and all that. And then basically the guy who was going to compete with, he backed out because of COVID, excuse, 8 weeks out when he could have recovered. I went in to win all my shows, and then I come into the gym with a round of applause by every single person in the gym with my gold medal around my neck. So I proved everyone wrong in it. You know what I mean? And then the next year I thought, I must be good at this. So the next year, I done 2 more shows and got smashed. No, to be honest, the next year I just stepped it up a level. So I done first timers on the first year because you can do that. Then novice. And then the next year, obviously, I can't do novice anymore because I've done it.
Yeah, right.
So I went into I wanted to compete at the Arnold Classic. That was one of my goals because I really wanted to meet Arnold, to be honest. But he didn't turn up in the Birmingham one.
Oh, fucking
bastards. So to compete in the Arnold Classic, you need to qualify for it.
Right.
So the qualifier was 2 weeks before. So I think there was 5 in that. I come 4th in that, so I still didn't come last. Happy days. And then in the Arnold Classic there was 18 and I come 16th, so I still don't come last. But yeah, so that was it. And then I just hang it up, and I always used to say to people when they say, are you competing again? I'm retired. And then really bodybuilding, coming back to it, it's got me a lot more focus and a lot more discipline, and there's a lot of things what I forgot about doing, and it's really sort of got me tunnel vision again. So I think I've got the bug back now.
Oh, that's good. That's definitely good. How many weeks are you out?
3 weeks.
So how often? How long is the camp then? Is it like a 12-week camp that you do?
To be honest, I stay in shape all year. So the big thing what I was saying before doing this comp was I just want to be lean all year. And I don't mean stage lean all year, but just like a nice beach body.
Like,
so I never ever
be so intense.
Yeah, you'll never see me with a belly or anything anymore. Like I used to do these mad cuts and bulks and stuff, and pretty much be a fat bastard.
Yeah.
I don't do any of that stuff. I always keep condition because I feel like your body works better. I always keep the habits like the morning routine, the cardio. So this prep has been when I step on the stage, the prep's going to be 7.5 weeks, which is the fastest prep ever in it. Really,
yeah, I'd say that. Like, normally it's like a 12-week.
17 to 20 weeks it is.
Oh right, okay.
I'm doing it in 7.5.
Is that doable?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. It's already done.
Is that delusion or?
Nah, it's facts.
I love that. So what were you hoping to obviously you're hoping to win it, but are you looking to get into this full time again in terms of going for more after this or what? Or
it's one of them if I do well, and I'm speaking with doubt there, aren't I? But you don't know on the day. I think I would like to sort of work up to a pro if I could, but I feel like it's all right having the mindset for that, but it is based a lot on genetics.
Yeah,
I would say, to be a professional. And your genetics can only take you so far, can't they? So I'm just seeing how it goes. I'm not really planning anything. I'm just going to do this competition, enjoy it. I've got a client competing on the same day as well, called Sam, which is a class client, to be fair. So I'm just going for the experience. It's a nice goal because I always think if you go through life without deadlines to your goals, you'll always put things off and go through the motion. And that's what, one of the structures what we put in place for all our clients is deadlines, timelines and goals, because otherwise, because someone can come to us and say, I want to be lean. All right, well, when do you want to be lean by? Is it a holiday? And how much do you want to lose? Because then it creates urgency then. Because otherwise you just keep putting things off.
Yeah, like you need to work to something, don't
you?
Yeah. It's interesting that I remember reading, I can't remember what book it was, but there was a book that talked about deadlines and how important they are. And it said like, that's one thing that I always try and do is like set like really harsh deadlines. So like, usually if it's like, oh, this will take me 2 weeks to do this, I set myself a week to do it because you'll work to the deadline. Yeah. Like if you set yourself 2 weeks, you'll just work to that. And I remember testing that. I did a master's degree and I remember testing it with that because it was in COVID. I had loads of time. And I just thought I'll just like start doing things way earlier. Like, for example, when they give you a deadline that's 3 months away, I'll just do it in a month and a half.
Yeah.
And it does work.
It
worked massively. Like I'd finished my thesis 6 weeks before the deadline and I just had a nice summer. I thought I'll do that a lot more. So it is something that is massive, like a strict deadline, but not like to the point where it's unachievable and you'd have to be rushing, but to the point where you're working efficiently and like you're actually doing it.
It's true because I learned that about myself. So I always went with a belief of I'm always good at doing things last minute, but I'm not. It's just because the deadline's getting closer. Yeah. So it's added urgency to the task in hand, basically.
So what are some other things, obviously you said about like the setting the proper deadlines and objectives, what are some other things that set you apart as a coach from other, like you said, like the frauds and all the other shit coaches? What sets you apart?
So what sets us apart, we really value the community. So we do live events, which adds value. So we do like different guest speakers. Like our next live event is going to be in September. We're going to have 100 plus people there. We capped the other one at 30 just to see how it goes because it was a new sort of style what we was doing. We usually do in person in the gym and stuff like that. Form training, technique, some subjects teaching, group session. We always do client of the quarter as well at each of the events.
Okay.
So the client of the quarter at the last live event won 500 quid.
Oh, decent.
So it's a nice little booster in it. But we really value on community because I think if you feel part of something, then you just feel good about it, don't you? You feel like you're not on your own. So community is a big one. That's why I've got the group chat as well. But the thing what sets me apart the most is education. Anyone can send a food and training plan. That's what a coach does. That's if someone's got online coaching in their bio, I think food and training plan.
Yeah, they just send you it. It's like the classic. If you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. If you teach a man to fish, he eats for life.
Yeah,
that sort of thing where you educate the background so they could go and do it themselves. But a lot of people tend to just stay with you anyway because it's like you said, the community.
We've got the community, and then we've got like a full library portal of educational videos. I do a live Zoom call all the time, like each month with them, teaching around different subjects. It might be mindset, it might be nutrition, it might be training. Because, like I say, I don't want people to stay with us for life. You can do if they want.
Yeah.
But I don't want it. I want them to be able to just learn how to live this certain lifestyle so they stay in shape for the rest of life and teach everyone else. And then I'm content then. I don't want to be scrolling on Instagram looking at someone fat again because they've left too soon or quit too soon. And I've seen it before and I don't like that. It's shit because I know they're going to be back, which is great, but it's that repetitive cycle. Too many people get stuck in these cycles where their life's on repeat. They'll have certain times in the year, every year, because I've got certain people who sign up with me in the same time every year, right? They'll have certain patterns what they'll do, which are just the same. It's leading to the same thing, and it's based on a thing in your brain, which I've actually learned in this book, called the paradigm.
Right.
So the paradigm's controlled by your beliefs, experiences, the past. So that really controls how your thoughts work in a way.
Right.
So say like if you sign up to a coach once a year, right, and it's near summer, you've put into your mind, I always train near summer and get in shape for holidays.
So that's all I'll ever do.
So you need to train your brain to say, no, I'm staying in shape all year. Like I had a paradigm. So what I used to do is I used to train good all year. When it got to December, I completely forgot about everything. Didn't eat healthy, didn't go gym, drinking all the time. Every single January was down, depressed, shit shape. That was my paradigm.
Yeah.
I'd done it every year. It was a habit what was installed. I had to change the paradigm to get the different outcome. And that's what the book's about. And once you sort of realise that's why you do certain things, it just all makes sense. And I think if something makes sense to you, you move forward towards it.
Yeah. So instead of making it a phase, make it a lifestyle.
Yeah. And that's what I really teach with everyone, really.
Yeah. It's funny because I had like a young relative, like one of my little cousins said that to me. He said, you must be on your winter arc. He said this to me a while ago. I goes, I'm on that 360, mate. Like I goes, I just go out. I goes, I'm not on any a little arc. None of that. Right. So just just to finish on, we do quick fire round, so quick fire questions, quick fire answers. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Perfect. So, what's one quote that you live by? Or one saying
One
that you
quote
live by?
I live by. I've got quite a few. Life's like a movie. Make sure yours is one worth watching.
Nice. What's something you hate to see in the gym?
Bad form.
What's something you love to see in the gym?
I was going to say something sexual.
You can't say something sexual.
No, something good to see. You know what? Big people making an effort.
See, I love that. That is one thing I absolutely love. In fact, like I've not asked this, but just thinking about it, is it true that so like when you're in a gym and you see like whether it's a fat person or a person with bad form, like people often think like whenever I speak to people about the gym and stuff, they have this massive fear of like oh, people are always watching me, or like I feel really like unconfident about going in the gym, and it's always because of what other people think.
Yeah.
How much do you think people give a fuck about other people in the gym?
None at all. And the most important bit about all that is everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah.
Even me, I've been training for 13 years. I'm confident in the gym, but you might have days when you think, oh, people look at me, or blah, blah, blah. Like, you have times of unconfidence because it's just the mindset.
Yeah.
It's just about being in a place what you feel comfort.
Yeah.
If you're like unsure about something, you're always going to be lacking confidence. It's like my last event. I've not done that much public speaking, but I'd done the first one at the start of the year. This was the second one. I went in with a different mindset. I didn't really change. It was my mindset what done the talking, and it was well better.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I think it's such a shame, and I think it stops a lot of people from going in the gym. And I can't stress enough to like people, and I always say this to every single person who I talk to this about. No one gives a fuck. Like, no one cares about what you're doing unless you're like hanging upside down on something like about to break your neck. No one gives a fuck.
Or naked.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
To overcome anything in life though, you just have to go into it, don't you?
Yeah, you just have to do it.
You just have to crack on. Have your little cry in times of doubt. If you have your little worry, or remain the same for the rest of your life. You've got a choice, haven't you?
Yeah, but no, I fully agree. Like, there's nothing more I love than seeing like someone who's out of shape, just putting in hard work.
That's
and
it.
You see him every day doing it. I'm like, do you know what?
That's it. But then you get some people in the gym, you take the piss out of them. Yeah,
absolutely. Fucking
video them and that and stuff.
Yeah, can't stand it. Cardio before or after weights?
I do my cardio fasted in the morning, and then I'll have a couple of meals and then weights. But if I was doing them back to back, I would always do weights first because you got the most energy, and then cardio afterwards. You don't want to tax yourself before the weights.
Yeah, fully agree. Something every beginner should know about dieting before they start.
Don't put your calories too low.
Okay. Why?
Because you get your energy from the food and it makes your body work better. A lot of people, they'll put the calories too low. It'll shut your metabolism down and you won't actually move forward because it makes your body feel in a good place. If you drop them too low, you're increasing stress. So your body sort of goes in fight or flight mode, and that's where you won't get the response.
Yeah. Finish this sentence. If you're still not seeing results after 6 months, you're probably...
Not sticking to it. You're not sticking to it, are you?
What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
It's all right pushing forward in life, but you need to know when to pull back. That's one of them off the top of me.
Give me like an example where that's been the case for you.
So, with business, so you'll get seasons of growth, you'll get seasons of pushing forward, chasing new clients, trying to hit monthly revenues, impacting more people, all that sort of stuff. And you'll get times when you do need a break, you're burnt out, and then pullback times are the thing where you can sort of brainstorm ideas, just relax your brain, refresh yourself. It's like in the gym, you need deloads. That's actually, I always say that one of the biggest sayings, what I say to anyone who goes gym is results are made in recovery. It's not about how many times you go gym, it's about how well you recover from the thing what you're doing. So that's the same with that, you can push forward for 6, 8, 12 week blocks, but you do need to pull back because if you don't, that's when problems arise, injuries, illnesses, sticking points, getting weaker in the gym. So pullback's always the thing where you can reflect and push forward, I think.
Yeah, agreed. What's the worst piece of advice you've ever been given?
I need to think about this one. Worst piece of advice. I don't know. It was that shit. I didn't use it, did I?
I love that.
I forgot about it.
That's all that matters. And then to you, finally, what is the meaning of life?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm like Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
The meaning of
I had
life.
the voice, but
Yeah.
what is the meaning of life?
The meaning of life, it's not just, chasing money, chasing success. It's actually being happy and content in what you're doing. And if you find your purpose in doing something what impacts lives or makes you feel good, run with it, because that could be the key to moving actually where you want to be. So, on that note, the best thing is freedom.
Yeah, I like that. So obviously, what's next? What's next for you? You've got the competition coming up. What else is next for you?
So I've got a photo shoot with someone in 12 days, because he always likes to do photo shoots around near like comps and stuff, because I'm in the best shape, obviously. So I've got a photo shoot, then I've got a comp, then I've got a client photo shoot, because that's what I do throughout the year with the clients to give them a goal. And then after that, I've got an holiday.
Nice. Where are you going?
Tunisia, just with a family. Oh yeah, I've got Marbella as well next month.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm going to train with Dorian Yates, I think.
All right, great.
That'll be good.
Like, do you have like a YouTube channel that you put stuff
Nah,
up on?
well, I have got a YouTube channel, but I don't really use it. I just
Right.
do Instagram and TikTok and stuff. But
Right, fair enough.
and then we've got another client event in September the 28th. So that's a speaking one. We're going to get the biggest one we've ever done. We're going to get loads of good speakers on that one. And then we always have the end of year active party / meal for the team, like the
Brilliant.
community.
And where can people find you?
Active Physiques
Perfect.
on Instagram.
All right, top man. Thank you very much, Clint, for coming on. You've been a pleasure, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Top
I really
man.
enjoyed that.
Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and comment on the video. Let us know your thoughts. As well, on your way out the door, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down here. It'll help this channel out massively. Thank you.